I couldn't let this moment go unpassed. I wanted to know whether realistically you can make yourself live longer by having organ transplants. Well, to find out whether that is realistic, I'm joined now by Dr. Thamir AlKasab, who's a specialist in urology at Al-Zahra Hospital in Dubai and an experienced robotic surgeon known for performing very complex procedures, including kidney transplants. Dr. AlKasab, thank you so much for joining me on the line. Can organ transplants really extend human life significantly? We don't seem to have Dr. Kasab. So what we might do is try that line again. But it is one of the more fascinating stories that's sort of making headlines. Have you been following the story of Xi Jinping visiting and President Putin meeting up with each other? It's been one of those things where all of the sort of Eastern world leaders have come together at the same time. And they're all in China for this extraordinary sort of military moment where there was a huge parade. I find that daunting enough as it is, but the fact that the North Korean president was also on site, plus President Putin, means that it all sort of came across as, I don't know, it was like it almost gave you a sense of a shifting world order, to be honest. It was very, very interesting. The optics are absolutely fascinating. But of course, this conversation is just a tiny microcosm of that. I think we do now have Dr. AlKasab. Let's just get that line up. Hi, Dr. Kasab. I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Can organ transplants really extend human life significantly?
Yeah. First, thank you very much for having me. So, in brief, people were looking for the elixir of life since centuries. Especially you hear it from presidents, wealthy people, kings, to enjoy life more. It's well known. The new hot mic issue really put this issue again on the spot. So in general, if you want to ask whether organ transplant will prolong life, yes, it is, but it depends on why the reason of transplant was done. So in early ages, when we are young, if we have a certain diseases that really damage one of our organs, then organ transplant will really prolong life. And there is a lot of studies about that following these people up to 20 and 30 years. Now, however, when you look at elderly, when you are talking about prolonging life for already elder people, the studies that we have, because when we talk, we always base it on scientific data. So the studies shows that people above 80, the 5-year survival of their organs is low down to 50%. The whole idea is older age, or the age itself is all studies independent risk factor for post-transplant mortality. This goes back to our immunity and the cause of the diseases. So if I have a problem with an organ, okay, I will change it. However, our body does not accept this organ in so easy way. Even with our modern technology, we need to put people on certain medication so the body will keep accepting this new organ because of the immunity issue and non-acceptance. So when you add another organ and another organ, then it will be more burden with immunity and older age. This is one. Second, which is the most important, not every organ can be transplanted. So we've been successfully transplanting kidneys with very good results, really prolonging life, livers, lung, heart. However, brain cannot be transplanted, bowel cannot be transplanted. So with people who has dementia, all the science is now shifted in order to treat and prevent dementia. But you cannot do a brain transplant regardless the technology we are in. Bowel, we resect bowel if there is problems, chronic diseases, cancer, and we cannot substitute it yet, even with the pig's guts or what it's proven. So if you take the theory by itself, yes, it is possible. And it will be revisited every now and then, because whenever you have more technologies, more capabilities to treat these organs and minimize the rejection rate, then we can do more and more and more and more. The population worldwide is aging. So if you look at the data coming from the United States or from UK, in the past, people well known to live longer, like I'm talking about in the 13th, 14th centuries or below, because they eat healthy, no stress of life. Then when the era of disease is coming in the 19th and 20th century, people were started to live lower because of the diseases and the modern lifestyle and the stress. Recently, with the new technology, the mean age of death in every Western community has increased. Population are aging because we are able to treat many diseases earlier and a prolonged life. But doing organ transplantation to keep them live more, it depends. For example, the most common killer in worldwide is the heart disease, well known before even any cancer. So does heart transplant do the job? Yes. It will substitute a tired heart with a good one and will function for a long time. But can you prevent the blood vessel disease that is in the whole body led to the heart disease? The heart did not suddenly get tired. There was a disease happening like atherosclerosis that it has put the heart at risk. So unless we cannot transplant the whole body vessel.
Do you know, I have to say that is such a clear answer to this conversation. Dr. Thamir AlKasab, I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. We need to go to our news headlines, but what a comprehensive answer to a very simple question, because it is clear that in fact, you can't live forever by doing repeated organ transplants. So maybe to give President Putin and President Xi their credit, they don't know each other that well. Maybe they were just making idle conversation. But it did start to sound a little bit sinister, it has to be said. Huge thanks to Dr. Thamir AlKasab, there, specialist in urology at Al-Zahra Hospital here in Dubai.